What's going on, guys? It's Charr here, and we are here with the Fear No Evil expansion box article, reaction, analysis, whatever you want to call it. Right off the dope, no editing on this video. Let's just get into it. I couldn't find this on the homepage. Thankfully, someone in the Discord sent me a link to it. Shout out Mongoose. Let's get into it. So we have April 16, 2026. We knew this was coming out today. It is Fear No Evil, a first look at the next campaign expansion for the Marvel Champions the card game. So we can see the full art here, and oh, okay, so they did this on purpose where either they cut off the art or they didn't include it, but Bullseye is in the art now, which should make a lot of sense. He is a Daredevil villain. I've seen, the first two seasons of the show. I don't think he's shown up yet, but, from clips and understanding the media, I know that he's definitely a villain in the Daredevil mythos, alongside with Kingpin in the top right here. And yeah, so let's just get to read. I think this is the full art of Kingpin too, right? Because originally they just showed us the kind of collar. So cool, let's get into it. Crime is on the rise, and with it are profits. Kingpin. Everyone knows the Avengers and how they save the world on the regular, but for every cosmic tyrant threatening the planet, there are 6 superpowered criminals threatening the streets. It's these day-to-day villains that most often endanger the people, especially when they organize beneath a powerful ringleader. To take on such a dastardly team of criminals, the city needs a team of fearless defenders. So I assume they're all going to have that trait. Fantasy Flight Games sold to announce Fear No Evil, the next campaign expansion for Marvel Champions. Taking place on the streets of New York City, this campaign sees our heroes taking on the city's superpowered criminal underbelly, resolving various crises as they work up the way to a face-to-face confrontation with the man behind it all. This expansion stands out from his peers by having 6 scenarios. Whoa, that's new. Instead of the usual 5. Okay, a Marvel Champions first. That is a first. And not only that, but 5 of those scenarios can be mixed and matched with different villains from the box to create a unique experience with each playthrough. So we have a lot of modularity in terms of the villains you fight. Like past campaign expansions, each of the scenarios will be playable individually or in variable order as a part of a larger campaign. This box also kicks off a new wave of playable heroes for the game, beginning with Echo and the long-awaited Daredevil, both of whom come with fully pre-built and ready to play decks from the get-go. Today we're providing a first look at the scenario content for this expansion. We'll go over the heroes in their own dedicated previews in the near future. There's a lot to cover from this box. Without further ado, let's take a look at the story of Fear No Evil. So as I said in kind of the Charr chats earlier, usually the first article is only about the scenarios. So sadly, we're not going to be seeing anything about Echo or Daredevil today, but it should still be interesting nonetheless. Well, there is a lot of things here. So we can see a lot of cards here. Maybe I'll open this image in a new tab. So it looks like Black Cat's one of the villains. It looks like Kingpin's one of the villains. Rhino's one of the villains. Or this is just a minion, actually. Bullseye's one of the villains. Kind of like the Sinister Six and stuff going on here. Let's see. 5 underlings, 1 Kingpin. As we mentioned above, Fear No Evil breaks new ground for Marvel Champions by being the game's first campaign extension to have 6 scenarios instead of 5. Story expansion sees the rise of a new crime sphere in New York City, orchestrated by Kingpin and carried out by his 5 greatest underlings. Okay, right here. Bullseye, Electro, Hammerhead, Purple Man, and Typhoid Mary. As you have guessed, each of these 5 underlings can be fought as standalone villains, and each of them is deadly in their own right. So you have Bullseye, Zero Scheme, 1 attack, Assassin, Underling, 1 revealed, set aside Adamantium Lace Spine. When Bullseye activates, each of his boost cards gains a boost icon. If his activation is an attack, it gains range. Okay. Take Bullseye for example. For this bloodthirsty assassin adds an extra boost icon to every card in his deck, making his attacks a bit stronger and his schemes a bit trickier than you would normally expect. This, of course, stacks amplify icons like Deranged Bloodlust. Place additional threat here equal to Bullseye's stage number. Okay. And it gets even nastier when a card already has several boost icons of its own, such as Unerring Desire. When revealed, choose to either give this card to the villain as a face-up boost card or remove a persona support you control from the game. Its activation is attack against overkill, and it has 3 boost icons. Whew. You may have noticed an additional effect on the last card. If you do not give Unerring Desire to Bullseye as a boost card, you are forced to remove one of your persona supports from the game. Bullseye is an assassin after all, and he knows how to hit his enemies where it hurts the most. Their friends and family. Unerring Desire is bad enough, but Bullseye can take things a step further. You can go after your allies with Raise the Stakes. Attached to Bullseye, Force Interrupt. When Bullseye attacks, give him one additional boost card for this attack. If this attack defeats a friendly character, remove them and this card from the game. Otherwise, shuffle this into your encounter deck. Wow, this is a pretty nasty card to get as a encounter card. It makes his attack pretty strong, and it's a triple boost card. So he either hits you for like 5 because he has one attack, or he schemes for 4. He seems like he's going to have really big activations. Or Incessant Pursuit. Attached to an ally without Incessant Pursuit attached. Otherwise, this card, is this Karen? I assume it is. Otherwise, this card gains Surge. When the villain would attack you, it attacks the attached ally. Instead, and the attack gets Overkill. If this attack defeats attached ally, remove them from the game. So he is assassinating, and that's pretty fun and kind of crazy. Bullseye isn't all offense either. After revealing Bullseye Stage 2, he gets access to his adamantium-laced spine. Force Interrupt. When Bullseye would take damage, prevent all but 3 of that damage. Place that preventing damage here. Then if there's 6 or more damage here, flip this card. What does it flip into? The rest of the game, so you're never really reducing the amount of damage you can do to him in a single instance. You either have to rely on multiple small hits to get anything through, or hit him hard enough to flip it to its damaged spine side, giving yourself an opportunity to finish the job. Damage spine. Force Interrupt. After Bullseye schemes, remove 3 damage from here. Then if there's no damage here, flip this card. Interesting. Okay, so he's kind of like, he's got like really big activations, and he kind of has like a bit of survivability, as you see with this adamantium lace spine. So that's pretty good for sure. So then we got Electro. So this is a different Electro than the one I'm kind of used to. I assume the mantle has been passed on to different criminals. So Bullseye's already a tough customer on his own, and he's just one of the 5 underlings on Kingpin's payroll. Francine Fryer, also known as Electro, is another one of those underlings, and her dangerous electric powers only match our explosive temper. So we can look at this: 1 scheme, 1 attack. When revealed, find an electric charge attached to Electro, place 2 per person counters on it. After Electro schemes, place 1 counter on electric charge. So low attack, but maybe a bit of a higher scheme here. What does electric charge do? Permanent Force Interrupt. When Electro attacks, remove 1 charge counter from here. Give Electro an additional boost card for this attack, and it gains Overkill. So we have 2 instances of Overkill already, so they really want to get around the blocking with allies. As a hero, I can spend a lightning resource or 2 resources of any type to remove a counter from here. Okay. Saggy Tuber player charge counters represent her initial electrical buildup. Electro gains additional boost cards on her attacks by spending charge counters. From this attachment, and she adds additional charge counters whenever she schemes or her charging up side scheme is defeated. Place 3 charge counters on electric charge. Thankfully, some heroes are able to remove charge counters from electric charges at a cost of a few resources. This is definitely something you'll want to do. Dealing with extra boost cards is bad enough already, but if you aren't careful, she'll devastate your entire team with a burst of chain lightning. For each character you control, exhaust that character, or choose deal damage to that character 3 damage instead. If there are any charge counters on electric charge, remove charge counter from electric charge. Wow, that's pretty tough. An AoE exhaust or dealing 3 to them, yeah, that's pretty tough. The most efficient way to clear charge counters is the use of printed energy resources. But holding on to too many of those in your hand can make you susceptible to an energy overload. If you have no cards in your hand with a printed energy resource, this card can surge. Otherwise, for each card in your hand, choose to discard that card or stun a character you control. Wow, these are really tough for sure. Even if she can't punish you directly for negating her charge, Electro can always leave your upgrades drained of power. So we got Iron. Is this Ironheart on the art here? That's pretty cool. Uses 3 drain counters when revealed. Attach to your identity and exhaust each upgrade you control. Okay, when an upgrade you control would ready, you may spend a lightning resource or 2 resources of any type. If you do, remove 1 drain counter from here, ready that upgrade. Otherwise, that upgrade is not ready. Wow, so it's just attacks for like 3 lightning resources or 6 any 2 of a kind resources. Oh no, or 6 resources of any kind. That's rough for sure. Forcing you to make a hard decision on where you're spending your extra resources. And we have a art with Luke Cage in it here. Pretty cool. Crime Spree. By now, some of you may have noticed we've yet to reveal a main scheme for either of these villains. That's because neither of them actually has a main scheme of their own. In fact, none of the underling villains in this box do. Instead, each of the scenarios in expansion, with the exception of the last one, which we'll get to in a moment, exists independently of the villains, and you can mix and match to your heart's content. So I think this might be pretty interesting with people who are like fans of the games, who know the game. Is the game kind of moving in this like super modular direction? People really do like the modularity, the side schemes and modular encounter sets and stuff like that. But I feel like main schemes can be a way to give a scenario identity that isn't just the hero card. And to be fair, the two villains they've shown thus far actually do seem pretty cool and like pretty unique from each other. So maybe it's not like a huge deal for this one, but I know like some people when it came to Civil War, they kind of preferred to have like a villain have its own scheme, right? Something that is really tailored to that villain that does what it wants to do. And this is kind of going in the vein of the Civil War, where they're not going to be like that. These villains are going to be interchangeable with these main schemes, so it's going to be very modular in nature. I'm not sure. I haven't really polled or pulsed the community whether people like that more or less in the past. As for me, I don't think it's too much of a difference as long as like the villains are strong enough on their own to have an identity. I don't think it should be too much of a problem. And bonus points if the main scheme is also good. You've yet to reveal a main scheme for either of these. Instead, each of these scenarios in the expansion, with the exception of the last one, which we'll get to in a moment, exists independently. We have the Getaway, so here's an example. It's a main scheme 9 for player threat. Force interrupt when the round ends. If there's threat here, do each of the following. Place one speed counter here. If alongside is in play, flip it to out front. Otherwise, place one additional speed counter here. It goes up 2 per player, 2 threat per player per turn, and starts with 2 threat per player. One of these scenarios is the Getaway, which sees you and your fellow heroes engaging in a classic high-speed car chase with the chosen villain. The goal of the scenario is to keep the main scheme clear of threat. Since every bit of threat represents the distance the villain pulls ahead of you. In that vein, if the villain gets a head start, it's a head start in the scenario out front, which turns all the damage into a threat removal from the main scheme. Out front, permanent, attached to the villain. There's no threat on the main scheme. Flip this card. Attach villain's attacks gain range. Force interrupt from the villain will be dealt any amount of damage. Remove that amount of threat from the main scheme instead. If the alongside is in play, flip to out front. Otherwise, place one additional speed counter here. Clear all the threat off it, and you'll pull up alongside. Each player takes 1 indirect damage. The villain takes 2 per player damage. Allowing you to make a few swings at them before they drive away. Oh, so it's going to be kind of like this push and pull mechanic where the villain is closer or getting further away. That's pretty cool. Just take care not to get run over in the process. As the scenario progresses, the main scheme will gradually build up speed counters to represent the speed of the chase. The numbers don't do anything on their own. The rest of the Getaway counter sets scales to the number of counters on the main scheme. This is kind of like absorbing delay counters in a way. So maybe this will be a kind of good implementation of that. For example, the treachery burning rubber. One revealed for each speed counter on the main scheme, choose to spend 1 resource of any type or place 1 threat on the main. So just get to worse. It can cost you a lot of resources or place a lot of threat. There's lots of speed counters on the main scheme. Similarly, pedestrians can force you to slam on the brakes. Something gets rougher the faster you're going. Get Iron Fist driving the car here. No, watch out. One revealed for each speed counter on the main scheme, choose to exhaust 1 character you control or take 1 indirect. Wow. Yeah, that can be tough, especially if you're making the game go long. Protection Racket. Another scenario you have to deal with is Protection Racket. Threatening New York's local shops. Scenario has multiple crimes going on at once, which means the hero will have to divide and conquer if they want to bring the chaos to the halt. Each player gets their own main scheme to deal with, each one representing a different shop to protect. They'll have certain conditions and that add additional threat to them. For example, excess damage while dealing with a bull in a china shop can have destroying the shop's wares. So you have Protection Racket. Choose an underling villain. Choose a villain set. Protection Racket set and standard set. 2 modular encounter sets, Disaster and Tracksuit Mafia. Setup. Each player chooses a single Protection Racket main scheme at random and expert and places it in their play area and flips it to side 1B. Set each unused main scheme out of play. So let's see some of these main schemes. 10 threat. Bull in a china shop. When excess damage is dealt to an ally in expert mode, an ally or a minion in the play area, place an equal amount of threat on the scheme. If any main scheme is completed or any player is eliminated, the players lose the game. So if any of them are completed, okay. Hung out to dry takes place in a cramped laundromat. We got Jessica Jones here. Calm down. It's on the gentle cycle. After a character enters play in the play area, in this player, deal 1 damage to it and place 1 threat here. So it's kind of punishing a ton of allies, which means the more combatants in the present, the messier it gets. While it might be tempting to grab something off the shelf, smack your foes within the pawn shop showdown. You have the hand and Iron Fist. Reduce the cost. The first upgrade played into this play area each round by 1. Force spawns after an attachment or upgrade enters the play area. Place 1 threat here. To remember that that's the shop's inventory. Even beyond the pawn shop itself, you have to protect the proprietor from getting caught. Shop proprietor. On revealed, put the shop proprietor into play under your controller's card name. Surge force interrupt when this ally leaves play. Place 4 threat on the main scheme in your play area so that you have someone to defend the civilians. Getting caught in the crossfires, if things get especially hectic, you may find yourself in a change of venue to the main scheme's move around. Surge. When revealed, swap your main scheme with a random set aside main scheme. Place a threat from the previous scheme on the new. This is pretty fun. This seems like a fun scenario. This what's it called? This protection racket main scheme. This seems like it can be really interesting. Heroes may still assist each other by throwing the main schemes on their own. They'll definitely want to do so, since if any main scheme is complete or any hero is defeated, the players will lose the game. Any game effect on a card you resolve that refers to the main scheme specifically will only work on your own main scheme, but any effects that target a scheme will work on any main scheme. This means you have to be strategic about what thwarting abilities to use when you use them, and depending on what encounter cards each player has to resolve, you might find one person's main scheme building a threat faster than another's. Thankfully, anytime in enemy schemes, including both the villains and their minions, they only add threat to the main scheme the player they're activating against, which means you still have a fighting chance even if things take a turn for the worse. We have the Raft Breakout. We have Proxima Midnight here with the Rhino. What the heck is Proxima Midnight? Go forth and wreak havoc. She's just causing havoc here, man. Speaking of fighting, the last of these interchangeable scenarios I'll show you is the Raft Breakout. You might have guessed from the name, the scenario revolves around our mass breakout from the Shield Supermax prison, the Raft. The prison is chock full of enemies you took out on previous Marvel Champions expansions, and they're itching at some payback. This could be pretty fun. Each minion engaged, when revealed, remove 1 threat from the main scheme, 2 threat instead if this minion has the elite trait. Pretty fun, 2 threat per player on the main scheme, and 1 per player per turn. First up, our old friend the Rhino from the Marvel Champions core set. How much health are these? Gonna have like a ton of health. Only 7. Brute Elite Prisoner from the Raft Breakout. Toughness and Villainous. This guy is not an easy villain by any means, and his attacks gain overkill. He has 3 boost icons and a star icon, give the additional enemy a tough status. As strong as tough as ever, Rhino's ready to do more than breaking and taking this time. His attacks hurt. Hailing from sinister motives. Okay, we got Mysterio. Pretty awesome here. Villainous Criminal Elite Prisoner. After Mysterio attacks, you deal each of that activation's boost cards that is a treachery to yourself as a face and encounter card. That's pretty tough. You want to get rid of this guy instantly. His illusions will issue extra encounter cards for as long as he's outside of his cell. Jumping to a more recent foe, Baron Zemo. Oh shoot, that's awesome. Okay, so we have Villainous. Treat each ally with threat on it as a deceived minion with a blank text box. Its scheme is equal to its base thwart, and it does not take consequential damage. When revealed, place 1 threat on an ally without threat on it. It engages its controller. That's pretty interesting. So he comes in and he turns one of your allies against you to like scheme and do his bidding, but when he's defeated, they're no longer deceived. They still have the threat on them. That's really interesting, actually. From the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. who cunningly manipulates your allies into turning against you. These are just 3 of the 6 elite minions in the scenarios. The scenario pits you against, and that's not even taking the villain's own encounter set into account. Assisted by the Master Key, which is attached to the villain permanent. After the villain teams against you, deal each of that activation's boost card that is a minion to yourself as a face-out encounter card. Oh, okay, so you really don't want them to scheme against you. Just attach to the villain during setup. You're going to have to fend off an unrelenting torrent of escaped convicts if you want any chance of quelling the chaos at the Raft. That's pretty cool. I really like that. I thought that was quite interesting. Then we go to the last one here. Alright, so we got some new art at the bottom, kind of taking a step forward. The man behind it all, this Kingpin art looks awesome. I mean, and we have like a really cool action shot here too on the second. Finally, we have the one responsible for the surge of crime in New York City, the Kingpin. So he's another villain with Stalwart, and then on his A2 he gets Steady. It's going to be something maybe we can't deal damage to him. We'll have to see. Steady. Kingpin cannot be dealt damage. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Or have upgrades attached. The players must garner public support to face him directly. Force interrupt. When Kingpin would attack you, he schemes instead, and then he turns into Steady Criminal Martial Artist 2/2 stat line. When Kingpin activates against you, if you are not engaged with a minion, give Kingpin 1 additional boost card for this activation. Okay, so he's going to be hitting, swinging, or scheming big. So final boss of the expansion, Kingpin Scenario, breaks the convention in a few different ways. A master of manipulation with unending influence and connection charges Scenario off by immediately calling in each player's set-aside nemesis minion. That's pretty cool. You read that right. From the very first turn of the fight, you'll be dealing with not only Kingpin's schemes, but your worst enemy fighting alongside him. No standard set used in Kingpin's Scenario. Instead, cards from his own encounter sets can bring more of your nemesis cards into play. For example, Kingpin's Influence. Kingpin uses a combination of lies, bribes, and threats to get others to do his bidding. When defeated, the player defeated the scheme places 3 threat on their nemesis side scheme. If it's not in play, find it and reveal it. Nemesis side scheme to play, well, Bag of Tricks. Bag of Tricks, oh my gosh, we got, what's it called? Blackjack O'Hare? This is crazy. Why would this be on a Kingpin card? I don't know. When revealed, reveal a random card from your nemesis, from your set-aside nemesis set. If no card is revealed this way, this card surges. Okay. God, you reveal the rest of the set. As if dealing with the nemesis wasn't bad enough, Kingpin himself can't even be touched. If you want to be able to bring the big bad boss down, you'll have to garner public support first. You have an environment card here. Forced respond low. After a minion is defeated, place one support counter here. When the villain phase begins, if there are at least 2 per player plus 2 support counters here, flip Kingpin and advance the main scheme to 2A, then flip this card. Since the Narc have had it with this crime tree, and if you can take down enough of his minions, then your people will have your backs in the final fight. Get public support flipped to the high side. So now it's on the high side here. Pretty cool art. So nice of them to show their gratitude for once. Interrupt. When an enemy would be given a face-time boost card, remove 1 per player support counters from here instead. After a minion is defeated, place 1 support counter here. And you'll cause Kingpin to fear no evil to flip as well. Finally, you take him on directly and face the scheme. Steady. When Kingpin activates against you, if you're not engaged with a minion, give Kingpin 1 additional boost card. Wait, how does this work? When any enemy would be given a face-time boost card, remove 1 support counter from here instead. Oh, so they help you for the first couple activations. It doesn't flip back over, but they do help you with a couple activations, not giving him boost cards. We have conditions. We have 2 conditions here. These are attachments for him. We've got Bear Hug. If Kingpin has the martial artist trait, which he does when he flips over, attached to your hero, otherwise this card gains surge. Use 3 grip counters. You cannot change the alter ego form. When you would attack, the order attack, remove 1 grip counter. This is really tough, especially if you're planning on flipping down or something. Kingpin's Cane. When revealed attached to Kingpin, you are stunned. After Kingpin attacks and damages a hero, stun that hero. If a hero is stunned this way, discard this card. He just gets +1 for an attack and a stun. Not bad. I mean, it's 2 stuns, it looks like, because he stuns you when it's revealed. Armed with Bear Hugs and his cane and his Mountain of Muscle. It's another attachment, Mountain of Muscle. He's fighting Winter Soldier. If Kingpin has the martial artist attachment attached to him, otherwise it surges, he can retaliate 1. When Kingpin will take any amount of damage, place it here instead. So it gives him like 8 extra health, basically. That's a pretty tough encounter card. Or it can be because of the retaliate and the 8 more health. He's more than happy to demonstrate why he is a man to be feared. Even once you've dealt with your nemesis minion, Kingpin still has plenty of other underlings on his payroll, such as the tricky Spot. Oh, we have a Spot enemy. That's pretty cool. Criminal underling, enter play with 1 spot counter. 1 spot would be dealt damage to an attack. If there's at least 1 spot counter here, remove 1 spot counter from here and do that damage to the attacker. Otherwise, place 1 spot counter here. So you do need to like take him out in 1 hit. Otherwise, he gets a counter. So he's gonna like, you hit him, he deals damage to you, no counters. Hit him, deal damage. If he's not defeated, he gets a counter. Hit him, don't deal damage back to yourself, and then you have to hit him again. So yeah, you really want to do a 5 at one time for this guy, or just leave him there. The Reluctant Black Cat. Black Cat villainous if there's a thief underling. If there's at least 4 threat here, treat Black Cat as an ally. Interesting. So you can make her scheme/store. What an interesting design for a card. So at least 4 threat here. Treat Black Cat as an ally that takes 2 consequential damage after she attacks or thwarts. How interesting. Spend a science resource, place 1 threat here. If there's 4 threat here, take control of Black Cat as an ally. Is this worth doing? She only has like 1 scheme and 1 attack. I mean, I guess she has 6 health. This isn't like once per phase though, right? You could just spend 4 mentals. So like you're paying 4 mentals to get her. I like how this ties in with the Peter Parker signature ally when she mills to get science resources and she adds them to your hand. That's pretty cool. At least in Buzzcast states, it'll take some careful convincing. You can have her join your side as an ally. Just keep in mind that her villainous keyword will still work. Oh, while she's on your side. Really? This is due to a rule change in Fear No Evil that introduces for the villainous keyword, allowing it to work with friendly characters as well. One has to wonder why we did that. What? What the? Oh no, is there gonna be like player minions that you can like control or like defeat and get them on your side that have the villainous keyword? What? That's pretty crazy. So the villainous keyword can work for friendly characters as well. What could possibly, maybe we're gonna get some like allies that are like historically villains or something like that. Who knows? Heroic defenders. As with all campaigns and expansions, Fear No Evil marks the beginning of a new wave of playable heroes. Since today's article is focused on the scenario content, in the coming weeks, we'll preview two of the heroes that come in this box: Echo and Daredevil. Their art looks pretty cool. Daredevil looks sick. He's got like that classic outfit, and Echo's art also looks very cool. Talented martial artist Echo enters the fray with a pre-built protection deck. Okay. Playstyle revolves around mimicking the techniques of our allies and fellow heroes. Meanwhile, the long-anticipated Daredevil joins the battle with a pre-built Justice deck, along with a special Sense deck. Oh my gosh, wait, he's gonna have two decks. Okay, that lets him double up on his actions. Okay, I wasn't sure if they were to go the thing of making him really kind of complicated or have its own unique mechanic because he was super anticipated, or making him really basic because he's a really good entry point for people and he's super popular. I'm glad that they went with the former because I'd rather him have like really complex mechanics going on and being really fun. I'm really excited to see what that Sense deck is. Although these heroes are core members of the Defenders and we'll be seeing the rest of the team join in the months to come. We first teased the hero packs of Fear No Evil back in November with our in-flight report. In case you need a refresher, the remaining heroes are Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Elektra, and Iron Fist. It's awesome. We'll share more details with each of the heroes, plus the Shadowland scenario pack that we teased in the in-flight report on a later date, so stay tuned. Crime is on the rise in New York City, and Kingpin and his underlings are to blame. Can you put a stop to all the chaos and restore peace to the Big Apple? Take on Kingpin and his criminal underworld when Fear No Evil arrives in July. Wow. What a crazy, crazy article. We got a ton of information. We got multiple main schemes going on. We got to look at two of the villains, which I think looked really cool. We know Daredevil's going to have really cool mechanics with his Sense deck and whatnot. Kingpin is another one of those scenarios. You have to like do a side scheme or do like a kind of side quest to actually attack and damage and knock him out. Yeah, everything here looked really cool, really high quality. So anything here that we didn't see that is new? There's a couple of cards. Oh no, Burning Rubber, we saw Change of Venue. No, we saw all of these cards. So nothing in that special kind of image at the beginning, that preview. Yeah, what did you guys think about this down below? Are you excited about kind of this villains not having their own main schemes again? Is that something you like, something you dislike? Out of Daredevil and Echo, which one are you guys more looking forward to now that we have a bit of a teaser into them? And yeah, this is a ton of fun. I can't wait. July does feel like a long time away, but it's not too far, only 3 months. Hopefully no delays here. We can get this expansion into our hands and play with some of the defenders, play in some of these scenarios. I love when they do references to their old cards and designs. You got like Black Cat here, who's dealing with mental resources. You have, kind of the old villains, Rhino with his Tufts and big boost cards. We also have, just I'm just really looking forward to this. It's very, very cool. We have like a spot, villain coming in. We got Mysterio retrained to like show all these old villains that we have done in the course of the game, kind of honoring the history of the game in a way. We've locked them all up in the raft, and they're getting broken out one by one by Proxima Midnight, which is pretty fun. Kind of like tying all the loose story of this game together. You get to fight these old foes in these scenarios. Really cool. Really looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. Leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.